God ndio ule msi. Commit your plans to him and he will reward you if you're working towards it. Si ati sasa ukae, Monday niko church naomba, Tuesday hadi Sunday
kwanga saa godi, then ikipitanga wakati na lack job, yeye ni ule mse. Kwanga achomi.
So
God atakupatia food at any given point of your life. Only do not allow the stress of unemployment to cause you do silly things.
So pia vijana tukue watu wenye tunaaminika kiasi kwamba tukipewa nafasi tutafanya yule mwenye alipewa nafasi kututafuta atafikia wengine pia nafasi kama hizo.
I stayed for over 7 years without having a job, but I was not doing nothing.
Subscribe to SK Diocese channel on YouTube. Tuko pia Facebook. Sasa kusema.
Sawa, ni hivyo umesema.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are live at Family Hotel, where we are about to discuss pertinent issues affecting the youth in Kenya, youth in Busia County, and in particular youth in our church, SK Nambale Diocese. And this evening in studio, I'm privileged to be hosting a team of a very amazing young men and a lady. And before I introduce myself, maybe I want to know them first. Beginning with the only lady in the panel. Welcome.
Thank you very much, and I'm really privileged to be the only lady among us, all the panelists. My name is Nelly Aseriopolo, a youth at SK Nambale Diocese. Thank you.
Welcome, Nelly.
Thank you once again. I'm Jim Sogonde from Nambale Diocese, a youth, and we are happy to be hosted by you.
Welcome, Jim.
Thank you for the privilege to be here. My name is David Musana Ndalo, an evangelist in the Anglican Church of Kenya, Nambale Diocese.
Thank you, David.
Thank you. My name is Reverend Noel Ochola, the Director of Missions in Nambale Diocese.
We now know our panelists. For a very long time, we've known we have issues with unemployment. It has been so much so that we do not know which way to take. So this evening, we want to know the best way to go about it, the causes, the impact, and maybe solutions from our panelists. I'll be your host, Miss Mo, or Maureen Akinyi to be precise. Welcome to our show. So to start us up, maybe Reverend Noel, give us a starting statement.
Okay, thank you, Miss Mo. We always go back to the origins. And in the book of Genesis, when God created man, Adam, he placed him in the Garden of Eden with a very clear and specific instruction in chapter 2, verses 15, Genesis, that he was supposed to take care and till that land. So that means that the first assignment that God gave man was to work. But now, fast forward century 2021, things are seemingly going beyond, or rather outside the expected normal, where we have a large number of people, particularly young people, who are not working. Energetic, wise, skilled, but no place to regenerate, or rather direct their skills, energy, and professionalism. And that's why I believe we are here.
Yes, but of course, you want to add something, Nelly?
Yeah, of course. When we fast forward from Genesis, I am not as versed with the Bible as our very able reverend, so yeah. I will not quote verse and chapter, but Paul later on again said that anyone who does not work, you are not allowed to eat. And it is like when we look at maybe our economy right now, it is very hard for us to share even our food with our neighbors the way we used to do in maybe very many years ago, because the economy is tough on us and you really have to work hard to earn a living. And it is very important for us as the young people, the youth who are very energetic, to know where the rain started beating us so that we find solutions to be able to work so as to support our parents and also earn our food, as Paul said.
Amicable solutions.
Yes.
So maybe to begin the conversation, Evangelist Ndalo, What do you think are the reasons for unemployment in Busia County in general?
Personally, when I look at Busia County, the first thing that comes to my mind is the education level of the people. One.
Education level.
Number two, I'll be talking about job opportunities. That is, to me, the major reason why there is unemployment in Busia. There are no job opportunities. Generally, Busia is a business town. So you find even if somebody is learned to some extent or has the basic tertiary education that they are supposed to have, they cannot find any job anywhere. But generally, when you look at youth, like let's say what causes unemployment, is the aspect of how do I put it? Naturally, people expecting to have white collar jobs, which are not there. So when even somebody has the education that they desire to have, they cannot get employed, because all of us are thinking about
The
white collar jobs.
Exactly.
How many opportunities are there for somebody to do a white collar job?
Very minimal.
Minimum.
I agree with you.
Yeah. So that is why most of us are.
Unemployed because of expectation. Jim Lax, you've been quiet. The last man standing. Tell us something.
About unemployment
The
in Busia
reasons,
County,
yeah.
the very first thing I could look at. Also, first I want to agree with my brother that we have so minimal chances that can accommodate this very many youth that are graduating every day. We have so many institutions, and every young man has grown. Like every year we see 6,000, 10,000, 20,000 people graduating, and all of them they are coming to scramble. Maybe let's say about, when you look at teachers, they advertise only 2,000 chances. How many do we have? More than 20,000 people. We look at maybe doctors, how many chances do we have against people? So we realize the main reason as to why we do not have enough employment opportunities is because there are no places for these people to work. Secondly, we would also say that we don't have investors in Busia. For example, when you look at companies, how many do we have? We only have one, the recent one, somewhere in the sugar factory.
Yes.
That's the only one that we can say that is accommodating people. Very many factories that were there initially, like the textile industries, all of them passed and went. Maybe because of the environment or rather the intolerance, we may not know. So I think also to add on what you have said is because of these minimal industries or factories or employers, so to say. Yes.
Totally. Thank you, Jim Lax. Reverend, anything to add?
I was also listening to my brother Jim Lax talk and make his opening statements. I single out something to do with policy. Because when you are training 3,000 teachers in the county and you only have opportunity to employ 10, let's say, per year, it presents a very serious problem. I will long for times. I heard that in 80s and in early 90s, nurses, teachers and doctors were being employed right away from their second year of study. That means that the government of the day understood the need and could only take up people to the tertiary level of education based on the need. And you'll be utilized and actually paid right away from your second year of study. But now when we are opening up too many opportunities for people to study, but narrowing opportunities for people to get employed, I believe it brings a serious problem. So I maybe say that the policy makers and the policy implementers, here specifically the governments of the day, both national and county government, should really look into the issues of when you are sending people to school, provide a ready market for them to use their imagination skills.
Any additions? Yes.
That's sorry for cutting it. That reminds me of something. You see, like when we grow up, naturally, we have things we want to do in life. Basically, there's something we talk about career development. You know, when you grow up, you will tend to desire, maybe I'll say I want to be a doctor, you know, that kind of thing. Now let me skip a bit and go ahead. Career choices also affect people when it comes to employment. You know, you'll probably be sitting, if I look at the country and in Busia, you'll be sitting marine biology. You know,
You want to be unique.
yeah, I want to be unique. I just want to be different from others. So sometimes people choose careers just because I don't want to be like so and so.
Yeah.
I want to be at another level and be identified with a certain career, which I've not sat down to evaluate and ask myself, at the end of the day, after finishing my studies and passing, is there a market for that kind of career where I am? You know. So that is something that I think also contributes to unemployment generally in the county and even largely in the country in general. Yes.
Yeah, totally.
So to add on what Reverend Musana has just
Evangelist Musa.
Evangelist.
No, you never know.
Thank you for the Yes, so I actually wanted to bring in that before he cut me short. But another reason to the wrong career choices for maybe our youth, if you look at the community where we are at, most of our parents did not really have the chance to really get good education. Most of us, mwenye amesoma sana maybe alifika form 4, form 2, you know, they didn't have the luxury that we have right now, that we are talking about colleges and universities. So they do not really have the mental capacity to mentor you. And that is where sometimes most of our learned youths who have already, the educated ones, they are up maybe doing jobs outside the country or in the city. So they are not around to give mentorship or to provide, let's say, a role model aspect to these youths. For a very long time, when you go deep in my village, to be a successful person, the people they considered successful are either policemen, teachers, and nurses. So any child growing up is thinking about three things: I either become a police officer or KDF, I become a nurse or a teacher. And that is why ukiangalia job market right now, our universities are flooded with teachers, nurses, and ukiona maybe recruitment for police or KDF, maybe they only want 1 or 2 people from TESO, but TESO is large. Everyone wants to be a police officer, so you find the fields crowded, you get. So we don't have really role models for careers.
And that's an issue of diversification.
Yes.
And which our parents are not doing it very well.
Exactly.
So maybe to cut all of us short, what is the church doing to help our youth who are going through these problems?
Maybe just before we go to what the church is doing, we have talked of government, we've talked of parents, we've talked of all those other factors. But I also want to bring in a dimension to do with us who are unemployed. When you go back to the Genesis where we began from, chapter 2, verses 15, God told Adam to take care of the land, to till. What does it mean? Adam was supposed to create employment and work for himself. Now, the youths of today, a number of them are not go-getters, are not creators. We are living in a time where we have to be created for. I am unemployed because my parent doesn't have money, so I cannot give. I'm unemployed because they can't. And that's the slogan I believe as youths we're supposed to remove from our minds. What are we creating for ourselves? Any successful person is supposed to create and leave wealth for your children and great-grandchildren. That was the proverb will say. That if you want to get a successful person, you create wealth for your children and grandchildren. As long as you're not creating, we'll continue to claim policies are bad, governments are bad, but we must come to a point of creating.
And you spoke about the white-collar jobs and the blue-collar jobs, and then we didn't speak about entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it. That's a beautiful point, by the way. You know, perception also determines who you end up to be. You know, when he talks about us thinking, the youth thinking outside the box. You know, when you're taken to school, you are being given skills. Allow me to use this example. There was one time I went somewhere and I met a young man whose parents have a large piece of land, around 2 acres. This young man has a degree in something to do with agriculture. I don't know how you call it. Agriculture. This guy is at home. He's at home. He has over 2 acres, and the 2 acres are lying bare. Now, the question I asked him is this: can't you use that knowledge that you are taken to school to get to do something for yourself with this piece of land that you have at home? You know. So the issue is sometimes we are so complacent. We get out of school and we sit, as Reverend says, waiting for somebody to tell us there is a job here, while we have resources. So people refuse to use even the resources we have to create employment for ourselves.
Yes.
I personally hold a diploma in IT, and I'm using that skill. You know, I don't necessarily need to be employed. For me to, I can do anything I want with, you know, diploma is general. You become a jack of all trade and a master of a few.
You have a degree or a diploma or whatever in what?
I have a diploma in medical lab technology.
Are you employed or self-employed?
Currently, I'm employed by the county government.
Are you self-employed at home?
At home, somehow.
Like what do you
Because
do?
apart from just being where you are, there are things you must do. Because if you are to just wait for what comes at the end of the month, at some point utafika mahali pa kusema yalipo sasa siwezi fanya vitu vingine.
Thank you.
But yet you can keep something hata kama kuku. And you know, starting kuku, you don't need a lot of money. You need pesa kidogo for 2-3 chicks and then you are good to go. Rearing things like, let's say, goats, you don't need a lot of money. You know, the problem with us, when we talk about business, somebody imagines Chumi supermarket.
Capital.
Right.
Somebody imagines family hotel.
Yes.
Where we are sitting. But there's small things we can do that can keep us going and help us grow to where we want to reach. So also our young people ought to think outside the box. Because the first mistake that I wanted to add on before I was cut short. Young people, after Form 4, kuna ile pressure, you want to go to campus. So some of them don't think beyond ninaenda campus kufanya nini.
Exactly.
Kwa sababu aliambiwa pia bidii upate C+. Na alipata C+. So it's about campus. I got some young kids in some cyber somewhere I told them, you have a C+ here. And I can't remember, but it was just a course. Something to do with either social work or whatever. So hakuwa naielewa. Then nilikuwa namwambia, if you feel like social work, unataka kuemploy ama kujiemploy. Then he's like, see jobs, tukimazanga university tunatafuta job. Why don't you consider TVET colleges? You will just still get a degree. You might not get it today, vile unafaa uipate. You can get even after 10 years. But when you go to TVET college and maybe you come back and there's something you can do, it can help you to grow. And even with that degree, there are some skills you can employ. Like you've gone, yes, you have a degree, and then you've come and done something on masonry, you've done something on plumbing, electricity. Those are small things that keep you. When you're at home na umesota, unakimbia pale mjengo na connect maji mtu anakuwa mtatu. You come back to the house. I think young people also think should broaden their mind. But after Form 4, it's not about university, it's not a matter of life and death. Let us do something that will keep us going.
Sustainable.
Yes, sustainability should be the word. But as long as I'm sustainable, education, when I go to campus, I'm going there to get educated, not to get employed.
Exactly.
I think that one's what
you are right.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you very much, Ringo. Nelly, you're laughing. Anything you want to add?
No, I'm laughing because it's the reality of what is on the ground. A lot of youth, they lack the self-drive to look, even after they are educated, you know, tunapenda vitu za haraka. We expect now, okay, nimegraduate leo, kesho ni apply job nipate. There are a lot of opportunities out here asking for maybe volunteers. Then after some time umekata, you turn down volunteering at you, napewa ngapi? You know, that is usually our mindset. Ama the first question that comes to your mind as a youth. Ati, I call you, Missy Mo, si nasikia ulifanya media, there is something we are doing for the church, can you come and volunteer? There is equipment. You're like, hawanipati hata fare. No, you say no. In the next 5-6 years, you're called for a job interview, you know the job you wanted. They're asking you for 3-4 years experience. Unazitoa wapi?
Right.
Then unaanza kusema sijui Nelly alikuwa kwa hiyo line anajuana na and the time I asked you to come volunteer with me, you said no. I volunteer there, I volunteered at a local radio station, I volunteer here and there. By the time I get that dream job, I have the experience I need. And I can even reach a time I'm being called for my dream job and actually turn them down, because through this volunteering I've gathered more skills than I can get in the employment.
Yeah.
Maybe I've been able to hustle here and there, get my own camera, started my show. I can employ myself and employ others.
Yes.
But ukingoja dream job, my friend, and you're not trying to better your skills, hakuna job utapata, honestly.
And I think reading from my experience, because I've been jobless for about 2 years. This is my second year. This is my second day defense, and I've been doing basically volunteering. I'm a volunteer mentor. I volunteer in almost all aspects. People ask me how much do you get paid? I tell them I don't get paid anything. But how do you survive? I think this God knows when you volunteer.
Yes.
He just makes things happen. So
Exactly.
instead of wasting time and being all over the place, like we are here today doing something constructive, in the name of volunteering, like you are doing something, you are doing something, you are just ambushed. Same to game. I think Rev just ambushed you, and we are here doing something very constructive, right? So at the end of the day, volunteering is not like a bad thing.
Yes.
It adds into your portfolio. So you mentioned something about parents not doing their part, and you see now in a society, we not only depend on parents for guidance of the kids, because most parents have failed, if I must say. So what are we doing as a church, Reverend Noel, now that we have reasons why we are unemployed?
You see, the church in the world is always the light. And particularly I want to address myself to the Anglican Church, Nambale Diocese, and what we are doing to help our young people outside here. I believe as a church, we've brought a number of opportunities that our young people can tap into and generate wealth at a very local point and very sustainable, as we are saying. Number one, we have a number of programs running, agricultural programs. Right now we are training people, and we have called on young people to come and be trained on how to do professional chicken rearing. And even I believe Musa Nahia has registered and enrolled for the training. We are also training young people on how to do grafted avocados and mangoes, so that you come, you have a small piece of land at home, and you can put there some few seedlings, and after 1 year or so you are harvesting a lot. We are also doing tree seedlings. Why am I beginning with agriculture? Because the wealth is in the soil. That is the first wealth that God gave us and gave to human being, was the soil. So when we limit going to Nairobi and other cities unnecessarily to stay with the people and just to hustle there, and we have a soil here, we can generate a lot of things. So that's the first primary goal of the diocese, to just tell young people, instead of going for the white collar jobs, we have something here. But also, even when you are employed in the county and wherever you are working from, hizo vitu ziko na mwisho. Shamba hii haina mwisho.
Very true.
Generate. We are in August, where the county government delays to pay people. A number of them have not been paid. So you will not continue telling people I don't have money, and yet you are coming from a home with 10 acres of land. And number two, matters of education. We also trying so much as a diocese to help train, educate, not only train but educate young people. We have given a lot of forums for education, because we are saying, and I love what Nelly said, what you need to be is to be educated.
Yes.
Education should help you to live your life, creating wealth for others. So we have given a number of opportunities for young people to be educated, be it informal or formal. Formal is where we get scholarships for best students in primary and in colleges, and we give them some form of sponsorship. Informal is when we create just informal training forums where there's no certificate, but we get knowledge that you can sell to other people. And also we are telling people, guys, it's not time for you to just sit and say, my parents were not educated, so I cannot go beyond my parents. You can go beyond your parents. So we also teach. We use pulpits and to teach and tell guys, it's time we woke up and we revolutionize our county and our nation by going to look for that which is hidden. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Maybe just to add to that, there is also beehive, beekeeping. It's good he has mentioned about it, because I worked for an organization for 10 years, then the contract ended, working with contract. Then I was like, what can I do? I went into poultry keeping. Now I'm being schooled on how to do it professionally. I started with 25 chicks. I'm advancing to 100. there is money in poultry. Anyway, that's a story for another day. What the church is doing also is to create forums whereby young people, we are targeting young people because that is where the resource is. When you target the old people, his time has ended, you know. So it is about the youth and the children. Now what we do in these forums, we have something called the youth parliament, whereby we have such discussions. And we bring in panelists who can enlighten people on certain issues. I'm one of the guys who are used, he's one of the guys we are sourced from within. Because we have young people who have grown within the circles of the church. They've undergone these challenges, and out of the challenges, they're at least somebody in society. So, role modeling. We say, guys, we are here. We have been through what you are going through, but we've come out of it. So, the target we are having is to change the perception of individuals and young people. That out of what I get, I can still create something good out of it. I do not necessarily have to sit. We are doing career development through the forums, telling somebody, if you want to be so and so, then this is how you should begin. This is who you should work with. This is how you should package yourself. And at the end of the day, it is not the job in the office that makes you wealthy. It is about up here. How do you use what you got out of school to empower your life and create wealth for yourself? You get it, then apply it. You don't necessarily need to have to sit. So those are some of the environments we are using, and we thank God because through the environments we get a lot of discussions, and the feedback we get, I will tell you today, is impressive. Yeah.
Good news.
We are telling people, don't depend on the jobs. Create wealth for yourself. Create wealth for yourself.
Give us Nambale.
Yes. That's a very beautiful city. What we are doing as a church, number one, is to support what my brothers have said. And we are mentoring young people and telling them, you cannot be lazy, sitting at home, waking up at 10 and going to your mother to give you tea and expect something out of it.
Yes.
We must move out. We must move out. We are reminding young people that they must do something different. You might have trained, you might have learned some skills, you might have done anything, but if you stay at home with that thing, then it becomes useless. So number one, we are telling them, tokeni nje. They have talked about poultry, they have talked about beekeeping and others. But I realize that even this napier grass is something that can do very, very well. And you know, in napier grass, you don't spend anything on it. Unaenda mtu amekata and then you pick the stems and then unazitupa hapo na zinaanza kumea. And those things within 6 months, people are looking for them. Right now from around June, we've not seen rain and they have been gold. Just like 2 meters, somebody is telling you 200 shillings, and then if you have been planted for 1 acre and in a whole acre, what do you expect out of it? So young people should always think about the available opportunities. We have different setups. Like those who are coming from Busia, maybe their setup will not be like the rural setup. Rural setup tuko na mashamba mingi sana, and our youth just needs to understand that they must go out of this white collar job. We are not saying that we don't want them there. They can come, lakini wazoe kuchafuka. You know, our young people don't want kuchafuka. Wanaogopa uchafu, wakiona ng'ombe amechafua hapa hawataki. Wakiona nguruwe mchafu hawataki. But they must chafuka for them to get something.
There is money.
So, yes, and where there is money, lazima kuwe na uchafu. Ukikuwa msafi sana, wakati mwingine pesa kidogo itasonga karibu na wewe. Hata pesa yenyewe ni chafu. So, young people ought to think outside the box, and that's what we are doing. We are trying to remind them. Number two, for those who have done well, we are trying to talk to them and encouraging them on the kind of careers they should be choosing. Recently, we had a mentorship program whereby we call lecturers of some universities and high school teachers to just talk about the careers, so that the young people, as they choose, they are choosing what is in the market. We are also trying to do it practically. We tell them, you know, it's very easy to tell people that I need you to do ABCD. But if they don't see you practicing what you are telling them, then unawapigia tu kelele kwa sababu wewe mwenyewe labda uko mahali fulani. So you're also going there. Tukisema kwamba tupande napier, they see wewe mwenyewe umefanya nini? Unapanda. Ukisema kwamba tuende tufuge kuku, wakikuja kwenu wanastahili kupata nini? Kuku. So that from there they can say, huyu jamaa kumbe pia yeye anafanya hivi tena anafanya. And then vijana pia wapande. There are some of these fruits that are now there. Unajua kitambo tukigrow, we used to have machungwa, ndizi, and they were for free. But today, even kitchen garden is selling. You cannot just plant here like kuna wiki 10 stems, alafu mtu akuja hata nisaidia mboga na kupatia, utamhesabia matawi. Tell these young people to think about that, and we are telling them every other day, if you cannot have that big farm, look even for stems. Recently we had some stems for popo in Gilekoni. How many young people took? In fact, mingi zilibaki hapo, lakini nimejigundua mimi I took some na nikaenda nikapanda. They are almost maturing, by the way, and they are less than 6 months. So those young people should also go out and try every other aspect. Kama ni kupanda, tupande. Kama ni kufuga, tufuge. Kama ni kutafuta kazi, pia tuende huko. Kwa tukienda kutafuta kazi pia tukupate huko, na tukikuja huko nyumbani pia tukupate. So I think that we will be able to help our young people to grow better.
Thank you very much.
Okay, what I can say, I'm a very new member of Nambale Diocese. Nimezurura diocese kadhaa, nilianzia military episcopate, nikaenda Katakwa diocese. So right now, si tunaweza sema hata Kenya iko na dual citizenship.
Talk of the church now.
Yes, so the church as a whole. I can talk of the church as a whole, seeing what I've seen in the different dioceses I have been into. One, I will start by speaking of something I really hold dearly, which is talent. It is a gold mine that most of us tunatoroka, especially with ukipata wazazi kama wetu wa kitambo, they know education is final. Ati unacheza na toa hiyo mpira hapo, kuja somo, umefanya homework, you know. And they fail to realize these talents from a young age, and I came to realize talent also pays school fees, you know.
True. Very
yes,
true.
Talent can earn you a job. It can do very much for you as a person. And where I grew up in, which was the military episcopate, that was one thing they used to value so much. So like during the holy days, we're always in church learning how to, from memory verses to skits, to plays, dance, singing. You even learn how to play the piano and other things. So once ule mse wa piano anazeeka, there is a young person in the church who can take the job. So with that, they give you a skill and also give you space to earn from your skill. So services wa kadhaa. Ukiona ule mtu wa piano ameenda service ya kwanza ya wazee, youth service, they'll give one of the people they trained from the youth service to take over so that he or she gets paid, earns a living from that. And I've also, at least I've seen even in Nambale Diocese, they're giving people opportunity to practice their talent. Praise and worship, nikienda youth service, I don't see old mamas doing praise and worship. So you know, everything comes with practice, and being given a platform is a gateway to finding a way to earn from it. Because if you practice, you get perfect. If you're perfect at it, you get money.
Eventually.
Yes. And another thing, I'm also a mentor, like you, and also into media and a speaker. In short, I'm speaking about platforms, and even as I came to Nambale Diocese, another thing is youths need first to show initiative, because if I don't know what you do, how will I give you an opportunity to do it? So once I came to Nambale Diocese, it was evident that I was a mentor, and I'm glad that Rev here gave me an opportunity that when they were going to mentor another parish, anaweza kupigia simu akwambia, hey, I know you are a mentor, can you speak about this and this? Yes. Come with me, let's go mentor you. So once you get a platform like that, you get better at speaking, at topics. You learn to work with different environments, yes, and it comes in handy when I'm doing my work with other organizations. And right now, again, we are here, given an opportunity to speak about these things to other youths. So it is another platform that the church is creating to mentor young people and ensure that they're thinking outside the environments they are in, because here we have different opinions, because we are people who have studied and traveled, so we have seen a lot of things, so we know more than what we would have known if we stayed back home, and we are getting a platform to pass this information to young people. So yes, the church is doing a lot, and I'm happy to be part of it.
So now you've seen that the church is doing its part. They identify identify the problem and they're given a solution. So it's up to us as the youth to take up the solutions. So we skipped one bit. We began with the reasons, went into the solutions as a church, and now we had one reason why we're all seated here.
Yes.
Because we know our youth are suffering out here. So what has been the impact of unemployment in our county and then in our church in general, Reverend?
I am a bad person that I love taking your step back. But before maybe we look at the impact,
Yes.
I believe I want to mention something from Matthew 25 verses 14 through to 21, the story of the talents. You see, this guy is going on a journey and he calls a few of his workers, and to one he gives 5 talents, and to the other he gives 2, and to the other he gives 1. Now this guy of 5 works hard and produces double talents upon the return. This guy of 2 works hard and also multiplies the talents. But this is another element of the guy who was given 1 talent. And I want to liken this guy of 1 talent with the most mind of the youth today. You see, when the master comes and he starts rewarding, you are given 5, you brought 10, thank you. You are given 4, you are given 2, you brought 4. The master appreciates you. But there's this other ideological thinking in the mind of the young people today that is likened to the guy who was given 1 talent. That I knew you, my master. You reap where you never sow. You want to harvest what you never planted. And you find young people who are just crying. You know, hata apply job county, wase wameshahonga, sitapata. Hata nikienda kujaribu kubodaboda hiyo, it cannot even work. The job market is flooded. Nikijaribu hata fanya nini? How we resonate and we think is costing us a lot.
True.
As young people. You can succeed where people have failed. The fact that Jim Lax and Nelly and Miss Moore have failed doesn't mean me going there and fail.
True.
The fact that some people have gone to the agriculture and have won a large scale market doesn't mean you will fail. Imagine you are crying of failing in the county, while at the same time there are very many people succeeding in the county. You are crying of failing in the field where many people are succeeding in the very, very agricultural produce. You are crying of failing in micro business, in financial issues, while many people are succeeding there. So what matters for young people here today is that don't have this bad ideological thinking expressed by the guy who was given 1 talent in Matthew. But whatever thing you've been given, if it's just 1 tree given at home, multiply that tree to create wealth. If somebody drops 2 chicks at your doorstep, don't see it kama soup. Ona pesa hapo. Na ndio maana watu tunasema wewe una pesa. Kikuyu kabla hajaona kitoweo, ameona pesa. And I want to appreciate, even as I quote that to my brother Kikuyus, because they know how to create wealth.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm telling our people in Busia, that every opportunity that you see, mtu akiona hii tu ni baiskeli, wewe ona hapo, kuweka hapo miwa kwenda kuuza wapi? Sokoni. Mtu akiona hii ni muti imekatwa, mwingine anaona kuni, wewe unaona kuchoma makaa na kwenda kuuza.
Yes.
And that's how we get money. Be proactive, be go-getters.
And think outside the box.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You can proceed. What
We are going to wind up with the impact, because we don't have solutions already, because the church is doing its part very well. So, Evangelist Sinalo, what do you think has been the impact of unemployment in Kenya, in Busia, and in our church in general?
Wow. Anyway, this guy has taken me to some level. Change your attitude, guys. I have to mention that by the way.
Yeah.
Attitude is very important.
Yeah.
Attitude is very important. Allow me to use 1 minute. When I got out of high school in 1998, I'm a talented dramatist and director of plays.
We know.
So I used my talent to earn money.
Yeah.
Again, I went into landscaping because I'd done building and construction as one of the subjects, technical subjects in high school. So I went into looking for people who had built their houses, and then I started doing that. I will get out smartly dressed with like a rucksack on the back. Rucksack, not these bags that you use nowadays. Those are our days. You go there, change, that attire, do your job, take a bath, jitengeneze vizuri
luku.
paka mafuta, nikitoka nimepiga luku.
Selfie.
Dem hawezi jua jamaa anafanya kazi ya mjengo, unajua.
Oh, that is kazi ya mjengo na
Yeah, kazi ya mjengo. Si mtu amejenga kumechafuka chafuka, unalainisha, unamfanyia mabarabara hizo na nini. That's what I used to do, and I used to get money and buy clothes for myself.
Yeah.
Anyway, to cut the long story short, the impact has been terrible. One, allow me to begin from the political scene. Why are youths nowadays being used for violence or to do violent acts? Because they don't have jobs. So somebody tells them, man, come here. 50 of you or 100 of you, 100, in fact, not even 100 is too much. 50 bob. 50 bob. Go to so-and-so's place and cause chaos. They'll be packed there. That has been the worst thing that has ever happened. And to me as an individual, it is something that has taken to heart. Reverend will tell you, I've taken to heart as my personal responsibility. That is what the impact of unemployment, that is the impact of unemployment in our society today. Even in Busia. Look at when we were having elections. Who are being used? Young people. Young guys. One guy was shot here at Marachi. You know, he's past tense. And now you wonder, just because of 50 shillings, you've been given 50 bob, go and do it. Number two, drunkenness has increased because they have, young people don't have a place to to use their energy, and idleness, they end up being drunkards because of issues. What's in a job now? What do? I have to forget this thing, and we forget that taking alcohol only postpones your problem. It does not solve. It just postpones. I've taken alcohol at some point. I'm not a saint. So it only, I'm talking about what I know. It only postpones. You wake up in the morning, you find. So I'll just mention to maybe just to give room for my colleagues also to say others. To me, it has led to young people being misused and then dumped. And then after that, the worst thing is that most of them have lost their lives. So to me, that is one of the worst scenarios that I can ever imagine. Young people being used to propagate violence and discord within the society because of unemployment.
Thank you, David. Yes.
Yes, thank you. I just want to start from where you have stopped. We have so many young people who are losing their lives because of unemployment. One, it could be true what he has said, that they are used carelessly and then from their carelessness, they die. Some of them, somebody stays at home and angalia mbele na nyuma and is like, there's no hope. So the only hope is around that tree that their grandfather planted. They take the rope, suicide. So some of them, or rather most of them who are unemployed and because of mental health issues and amua kujimalizia uhai. It has also led to high level immorality because I have nothing else to do. Nimekaa hapa kwa simu and some of us tunang'ang'ana na mjiko kidogo and then they try those big phones. So with phones, the issue of cyberbullying comes in. These people is there, it's concentrating, I don't know, in pornography. From pornography you have to go and practice it, and then from practicing it, ndio huyo, yani kila kitu chafu wote, because you have a lot of time and you have nothing to think about. You know, that's the dangerous part of it. You have a lot of time and you have nothing to think about. So anybody telling you, twende, you are ready to go. It has also led to single parenthood, whereby our girls, you know, like between Form 4, the time you went to school, that is the higher learning institutions, and then you get a job, is a lot of time. But this somebody who finished Form 4 and maybe never looked beyond Form 4. He's just at home. So men tend to misuse them. You have this issue of sponsors, you have these issues of the 10 sets in now. They are taken out and then they are used and then left there. They are dumped and then they are like, their life, there is no hope in their life. We also have issues to do with I think I have talked about mental issues, mental health issues. So allow me just stop there so that my colleagues can continue.
Thank you very much.
Okay, what I can say, what I've observed within Busia County, it's a border town, and most youths have resorted to doing illegal businesses because it's easy money, it's fast, and you know they're youth, so the adrenaline in doing something illegal is also a push, you see. But if they had a chance to maybe get a job in a decent place or have a decent business, they wouldn't be running to these things. And you know, this magendo business, tumeona hizi wish na probox zikiua watu kwa hizi barabara. And that is, okay, it is not okay for people to die. Now wenyewe pia wakimbizane na polisi day in day out. It is not a life I would love to live myself or someone I know to live. And okay, just to echo what has been said, mental illness is a real issue for the youth in our county and beyond. Yes. And you know, for some time people have been saying ati we stress ni ya wadosi, unalia nini ama unalia stress na ujaza, you know. Kids are the ones who are supposed to be giving you stress. They don't understand that young people also get stressed by issues like not being able to provide for their parents.
Yes.
We see our parents struggle a lot, and once you're through with school, all you want is just to see them smile. Usisikie mama anapika na kuni and you can afford gas, you know. So it is an issue that should really be looked at keenly. Isipitiwe too, like the way we are talking here, mental illness. We should go back to our parishes and churches and really try to find, I don't know, within our churches we have counselors, professional counselors, and ourselves, we can, some of us have basic training in counseling, we can also help where we are. Let us talk to these youths who are not getting a job, see mwisho ya life, you know. At least when they see these solutions that we are here trying to offer, they can have a different mindset. Kasi ja employer, kumbe neza tumia shamba ya madhe to do something and it can benefit us all. So isishare here, because some of them don't even have smartphones due to all this stress. They end up even selling their phones. So maybe they will not get a chance to listen or watch this video. But I'm glad that we are energetic when tuko hapa. Hata wenye mnajifanya wazee huko mwingine alimaliza shule nikizaliwa. You see, bado uko na hiyo energy. Yes. And we are still here. Sisi wengine bado tuko na miaka mingi tufike madiuko. So let us use our different platforms. We have WhatsApp groups, you know? And we have church for ground. Sai tumefunguliwa, at least we can have these conversations to hear from them. Unajua za kwezi ni mashida si tunajua. Na zingine kwa ground akutafikia. So naongea nika nimemaliza like
kupeana problem na kupeana solution. Thank you, Nelly.
Thank you.
I think I'm in agreement with all that has been shared, but I want to say this maybe to the public outside there. We all agree that the level of unemployment is high, and also to some extent has led to the moral degradation in our societies. It has also affected the gender roles in our families. It has also weakened the family links. You see, those children who grew in 60s and 50s, they were parented very well with their mothers, because their mothers were seated at home, parenting, nurturing, growing them. The man would be in the field. Right now, because of the strain in the economic life, you can't afford a woman to be at home. The man has to go this direction, the woman to go this direction, the firstborn this direction, so that at the end of the day, they bring something. And that is weakening our family links. I know we cannot go back to those days where the woman is at home. We appreciate. But I want to speak to the women that as we go out and also help in working, we should also not neglect our children so that they don't end up suffering of those mental health things and the rest. But also I want to speak to someone who is in a position to help a young person. If you're in a position to educate a person, if you're in a position to create an employment for a young person, kindly tutoe hii kliше ya amekupa nini, atakusaidia nini, ni mtoto wa nani. As in, when in a position, just help. Exactly. Mengine achia Mungu. And what I have seen is the more you help people, the more the grace of you being rich and growing bigger increases upon your life. So ukiwa na opportunity, ukiwa na kiosk, employ himself. Even as a church, I also want to speak to pastors who now have opportunity to employ people in their churches. Don't just say kwamba we want this. Okay, it's good to be an Anglican pastor, it's okay, but employ people based on their skills, expertise and professionalism. Don't say kwamba ni mtoto wa sister yangu sasa namleta. This also inachangia sana na employment. So ukikoa unaweza saidia mtu, saidia. Na vijana ukipewa position ya kufanya kazi, do it. Do it. Acha kuwaka kwamba vijana nowadays they are not reliable, ukipatia kazi hawataweza. No. Work. Ukipewa position hata kama ni ya manager, uko 18 years, manage that thing to the best of your abilities. Ili mtu aseme kwamba yeah, we can rely on you. And to the Anglican youth, there is what the church can help you. Only if the agenda of coming to church is not like kuangalia fame, but kuangalia what can I offer to my generation, and that's what will help you. Ukichagua job utaenda mbali.
Kweli.
Asante Rev. Yeah, so tukimalizia ningependa kila mmoja wetu katika hii panel atupatie the last words in terms of solutions to our problem of unemployment. Tukifunga tuanze na Mary.
So basically I had already given a solution, but one word I would like the youth out there to get is, saa zingine you don't get to work in the field where you studied. So have an open mind that when you get into this field, wengine wetu, if you hear what we did in school and what we are doing on the ground, you'll be shocked. We have people who have done computer science and are down here doing media, not because they studied, but they perfected a skill they could get. Use the resources available right now. Most of our places have free internet. You have smartphones. YouTube is a very good platform to learn. The internet is a very good platform to learn. So you don't need a teacher to be there physically, a lecturer or someone to teach you skills. You have the internet for that. And once you get the opportunity, as Rev said, do it like never before. If you get a chance to volunteer like you're getting paid.
Yes.
You never know who's watching. Some of us have gotten opportunities through volunteering, but to match up a job to a point you're called and you're being offered good money to do the same thing you did with a good heart. And finally, don't forget that above everything, God ndio ule msi. Commit your plans to him and he will reward you if you're working towards it. Si ati sasa ukae, Monday niko church naomba, Tuesday hadi Sunday. Go to church when you can go to church, lakini usikose Sunday. Enter church, but have time to learn your skill, have time to practice, to perfect, so that as you're praying for it, when God provides an opportunity, you're ready for it. And nezongea dikisho, but I can't finish.
Motivational
speaker. I am a
You're a wonder
motivational
woman,
speaker.
Nelly.
I know.
Thank you for that. Aye.
Yes. For the young people outside there, I think we are just echoing what we've already said severally. There's some point in time we had a topic of discussion and it was called While We Wait. There are so many young people who are just waiting and they're just seated waiting. I want to tell you, as you wait for that opportunity, which maybe you specialize in, get something else to do. Add on some skill. If you did maybe, let's say, education, math, English, go and do computer science so that when you come with the advertised math computer, you are now better placed. Get something else to do, and at the end of the day, you'll get that the opportunities will come. Not necessarily what you learned, but those that are available. You could have learned for something, maybe after you can be employed as a casual. Go for that casual, and as you work as a casual, you continue to perfect that. Now one day, another opportunity will come and will consider you because they have been seeing you there. The other thing that maybe the final word that I tell young people, be people that can be trusted, people of high morals and people of high integrity. Integrity is the difference. Some of the young people who are getting jobs, as you watch, they are people who can be trusted with everything and anything and will do what you want them to do. As we trust you for anything, always also give us so that people can believe in you, people can trust in you, and somebody can give you a name. Some of us, we fear giving names because I could be giving Ndala's name and he goes there and then he tags my picture. And then next time when I get an opportunity, they say, watu wake, watuangushe. So pia vijana tukue watu wenye tunaaminika kiasi kwamba tukipewa nafasi, tutafanya yule mwenye alikuwa nafasi kututafuta, atafikia wengine pia nafasi kama hizo. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Integrity is the difference.
And character.
And character.
One, I'm also not like Reverend to quote the exact scriptures, but I will say this. What do you have in your hands? What is it that you can do without anybody taking you to school? That is where your wealth might be. God will bless the work of your hands. So that small thing that you can do it to perfection. Commit to it and you will be blessed. Number 2, Paul tells Timothy, do not let anybody despise your youth, but be an example in character, in speech, in conduct, in faith, in love. When you encompass these things in yourself, Bwana kuna zingine, the Jimla says, you won't even ask for a job. Somebody will call you and tell you, Bwana, we have a job somewhere. Can you come and do it? And then you'll get something to do. The last thing I would say, be patient. Be patient. Good things do not come very fast. They come to them that are patient and who can wait. I stayed for over 7 years without having a job, but I was not doing nothing. I involved myself in charitable works. I began a drama group in town here. It graduated to a CBO. I involved myself with so many organizations, name them Pathfinder, Path International, ArtNet Waves Communications, PSI, all those organizations that I think about. I used to work with them voluntarily. You can imagine you're out in the field for the whole day, you are paid 40 bucks. But I did that. But 7 years later, I landed a good job. The first one I landed was without an interview. The second one, I was interviewed. But what I was told was, out of your education, what have you been doing?
Exactly.
We have seen your papers, you are qualified. What else can you tell us about yourself that you can be proud of? That volunteering thing gave me the marks. Patience, character, and do something. That which you have, do it. That is where your success lies.
Yeah. You become what you understand. And when you understand who you are, definitely the future is bright. It doesn't matter how long you wait. Appreciate waiting, because it gives us more experience. And I think I'll close by the words of the psalmist in Psalm 23, a psalm that we all know. Bwana ni mchungaji wangu, na sitapungukiwa na kitu. Na hata mabazenga wamekuja wakasema nakuanga saa godi, ndani kipitanga wakati na lack job, yeye ni yule msee. Wanga achomi.
Hey.
So God atakupatia food at any given point of your life. Only do not allow the stress of unemployment to cause you do silly things. Just learn to wait, and as you wait, believing in God, He will sort your needs today. And as you wait, also serve God. Service to God today is banking for your future. So when you don't have anything, volunteer even in the church. Volunteer even in the street there. That is a service to God, that is a bank for your future. Utaziredeem hizo bonga point one day in an expected way. And so, for them that are looking for job, we pray with us, we pray for you that God will see you through. It is on time. Thank you.
More, before you close. Succeed at being yourself. Don't compare yourself with anybody. Just be yourself and succeed at being yourself. Because each one of us is unique.
Yeah, sure.
I cannot be you, you cannot be me.
Absolutely.
Just do your thing and don't compare with anybody. You can only compliment each other.
So if someone asks me how much I'm being paid to be a host here, kindly tell them I'm being paid 0 shillings, but I'm accumulating my bonga points like redeem badai.
Yeah.
So we have a lot to talk about. It's a vast topic that is of importance. In fact, the national security issues, unemployment. And you see, it's just our first edition. We'll be having many of these editions, discussing a variety of topics that are of human interest to you, to your child, to anybody that is within the society that you coexist in. So always tune in to this particular YouTube channel of ACK Nambale Diocese. You'll be enriched. Every week we shall come with a day, right? In the first edition too, ilikuwa kionjo na wana vile imekuwa. Yaani wasema bazu wako na knowledge. Mabazu wako equipped and they're helping the society in a massive way. Na hawajakaa tu by the way. Ama bazu like wanafanya kazi poa na God at our place. Sawa sawa. Tuko unemployed, sawa si unemployed.
Atucomplain.
Ameingia into farming. Anajua one day atarudi kazi yake, lakini matime zikikuja mchungaji hapa anachunga kondoa Mungu. Unaona? So at the end of the day we are all keeping ourselves busy and to waste time. So don't make yourself be called unemployed while you can do something about it. Let's take home this one, history ya talent ya Matthew. Don't be the one, the guy with the one talent, the Mr. Complainant, the Mrs. Complainant. Be the one who multiplied their talent. Sawa sawa. So from our panel this evening, it's a good evening from us. Thank you, Fangi Hotel, for hosting us. It has been a nice, serene environment. We got a nice chat from this environment. Maybe we shall come back again to invite you, Chena. And from me, it's adios. God bless you.